Hello, welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. It's time for Night of Champions. This was September 15th, 2013, Sunday, obviously, from Detroit, Michigan. And first off, I have to say, because I was working, I did miss the pre-show and about the first half hour of the pay-per-view. But I was able to find notes on what I missed. During the the pre-show, there was a backstage segment or something. It was Heyman. I think he was talking with Brad Maddox, and what it basically amounted to was they added a no disqualification stipulation to the match, Punk versus Axel and Heyman. So that is now no disqualification. Also, of course, they did the Tag Team Turmoil 5-way match for the number one contendership to the tag team titles. And I had no idea what the hell they meant by Tag Team Turmoil, but apparently it was elimination rules. So, I guess if one member of a team was pinned, then the whole team was eliminated. But of course, just as I predicted, the primetime players won, and hence wind up taking on the Shield later on, but we'll get to that. The pay-per-view started, and for some reason, they had Curtis Axel defend the Intercontinental title against Kofi Kingston in the opening match. This had not been announced before the pay-per-view, and it makes no sense because Axel was already booked in a match. Later on, of course, him and Heyman versus Punk. Doesn't matter. Axel retained, so who gives a shit? After that, and this is about where I came in, they were doing an atrocious backstage segment with the Divas leading up to the Divas title match. And, oh god, I don't even know what the hell all it was, but AJ was there and some of the other Divas, and I know Alicia Fox was there with Oksana and Layla. And basically what it was is AJ pissed off Alicia and Oksana, and so the two of them walked off, and AJ's just standing there with Layla. Whatever. This is all just leading up to the Divas title match, which was up next. Natalya, Brie, and Naomi, and AJ. Fatal 4-way for the Divas title. There wasn't really much to comment on this match. It was a terrible match, and it was your typical sort of Fatal 4-way. It was a lot of people getting thrown out of the ring or getting knocked down outside of the ring to keep them out of the ring so that two of the girls in the ring could, do some stuff. And the only real highlights from the match was Natalya locked in a double sharpshooter on both Naomi and Brie. AJ came in to break it up, and since Naomi and Brie were down selling after the sharpshooter, AJ was able to lock in the Black Widow on Natalya, and Natalya had to tap out, so AJ retains. Again, just as I predicted. After that, they went to the panel, the stupid pay-per-view panel, which I wasn't able to get it for the pre-show, but it doesn't matter. The panel was Josh Matthews as the host, Alex Riley, don't know where in the fuck he's been the past few months, Booker T, and Santino Marella. So there's a little segment with them talking about what just happened and what was coming up next, the World Heavyweight title match, Del Rio versus RVD. RVD comes out with Ricardo, and Ricardo, since he got beat up by Del Rio on SmackDown, Ricardo has his arm in a sling. And then Del Rio comes out, they get in the ring, and they get the big title match introductions. And finally the match starts. Again, highlights. There was a botched moonsault spot. What happened was Del Rio had fallen out of the ring, of course doing that same goofy spot he keeps doing where he jumps through the ropes. But he was on the outside of the ring. RVD gets out on the apron and does a moonsault from the apron, but he short jumped it or something, and it just didn't really connect properly. Other than that, there was RVD went for the Rolling Thunder, but Del Rio got up and countered it into the backcracker. Later on, RVD went for the 5-star, but Del Rio got the knees up. And then he went for the cross-arm breaker. RVD got a rope break, but Del Rio wouldn't break the arm breaker. The ref counts to 5, and so Del Rio gets disqualified. Match is done. Del Rio retains by disqualification, but RVD wins the match. So I was right about RVD winning, but I was wrong about RVD winning the title. What ends up happening is, Del Rio won't break the arm breaker. He ends up going out and grabbing a chair. And he gets back in the ring and he's going to go and hit RVD with it. But Ricardo jumps up, and even though he's got his arm in a sling, he grabs the chair away from Del Rio. And RVD gets up and he knocks down Del Rio. I don't remember what he did exactly. But he knocked down Del Rio, and Del Rio's pretty much KO'd. They put him in the corner, and Ricardo still has the chair, and he starts motioning like, you want to do the coast to coast? The Van Terminator? And they're like, and RVD's looking around, he's like, yeah, and the fans are cheering and whatever. So Ricardo puts the chair up against Del Rio in the corner. RVD gets up to the top rope on the adjacent corner, and he hits the coast to coast, the Van Terminator, whatever you want to call it. And I'm thinking, okay, Del Rio's laid out. This is a perfect chance for Sandow to come in and cash in. He doesn't. They focus on Del Rio being practically dead. He's wiped out from the Van Terminator. Referees and the ringside medics or doctors come over. They help Del Rio out, and that's all that there is to it. It cuts backstage to Axel and Heyman. And Axel's looking pretty cocky. He successfully defended the Intercontinental title. But Heyman starts talking. And he starts saying, you pissed off Triple H. This must have been something I missed. But he pissed off Triple H, apparently. And Heyman's looking at him like, he's saying, you have to make sure that you protect me, because if you don't protect me, Triple H is going to get you. It's not a good thing to be enemies with Triple H. But he's saying, you know what, I can make it go away. I can fix things between you and Triple H. Whatever. I didn't see what pissed off Triple H. I really don't know what the fuck it was or what the hell they were talking about, but whatever. It must have been on the pre-show. Speaking of Triple H, they cut to the office, where Triple H is talking on the phone with somebody. He hangs up, and there's Randy. And Randy's asking Triple H, this must have been something else that I missed. Apparently, Triple H banned the Big Show and the Shield from interfering in the match, the WWE title match, Bryan and Orton. And again, I missed this, so I don't know what the hell how this came about. But apparently he banned them from ringside. He wants no outside interference. And Randy's asking him, explain to me your logic here. Why are you doing this? And Triple H says he wants to be sure that he picked the right guy to be champion, or to be the face of the WWE when he picked Randy. He wants to make sure. Okay. we cut back out to the arena, and all of a sudden, Fandango's music hits. And out he comes with Summer Rae. And I'm like, they didn't announce this match. So he's coming out, and I'm thinking, okay, are they finally going to have him go against The Miz to kind of settle their little feud? Yeah. Miz comes out. They start having a match. But before they do, they show a recap from SmackDown, and this is something else that I missed from SmackDown. Apparently they had an idiotic dance contest on SmackDown. The Miz, Fandango, R-Truth, and the Great Khali. And here's the kicker. Miz had on a fake afro, and he was doing all like kind of Disco Inferno kind of shit. And somehow The Miz won the contest. I don't know, but whatever. They show the recap of that, and then they start the match. And this was actually a fairly good match. Summer distracted Miz at one point. Again, these are just highlights. Miz was working Johnny's leg, trying to go for the figure four, but he couldn't get it on. Of course, Johnny, being the dancer, didn't want to let anything happen to his legs. And we'll come back to that. Miz ends up kind of tied up in the ropes. He's kind of like laying on the second rope. Like laying on it. He's kind of got his upper body hanging into the ring. But he's still kind of laying on the second rope. Johnny like springboards from the apron and leg drops The Miz. He only gets a 2 count with that. I'm like, okay, that should have been like a finish. Like, anyways, after that, Johnny went back up to the top to go for the big guillotine leg drop, but Miz got out of the way. And Miz was finally able to lock in the figure four, and Johnny tapped out immediately because, again, he didn't want his legs to get hurt. So, whatever, that match is done. Was a decent match, at least. After that, they recap the whole thing between Punk and Heyman and Axel. Everything from Money in the Bank, Heyman screwing Punk out of the Money in the Bank, everything since then. Except for the stuff with Brock. They left that out. But anyways, Axel and Heyman come out, and then Punk comes out, and he's got a kendo stick. And he gets down, and he does his little, it's clobbering time thing. But instead of saying it's clobbering time, he gets up and he yells, "Time to die!" Yeah, he was really fired up to kill Heyman. Yeah. So anyways, the match starts, and as I said before, it was no disqualification. So, of course, the kendo sticks. And apparently, while Punk was coming out, Axel found him a kendo stick. And they start off using the sticks and whatever. And Punk does the White Russian leg sweep on Axel, and he lays him out. And immediately after laying Axel out, he suicide dives out of the ring on top of Heyman and wipes him out. He gets Heyman in the ring, and he's messing with him in the corner. He's just kind of slapping him around a little bit. And of course, Axel comes from behind and low blows Punk. And since it's a no DQ match, it's all perfectly legal. So from there, Axel starts taking control. Kendo stick shots. He goes and gets a chair, but doesn't really get to use it. The chair gets wedged in one of the corners. And then Axel gets a table, and he brings it in the ring, and he leans it in another one of the corners. Axel gets thrown into the chair later on in the match. This is later. They fought around for a while. Axel gets thrown into the chair and falls out of the ring. And Punk goes for a suicide dive on Axel, but Axel gets the chair up and kind of hits kind of a glancing blow on Punk as he's coming out for the suicide dive. Throws him back in the ring. He's able to hit the McGillicudder, but only gets a 2 count. A lot of kendo stick shots, whatever. Punk is finally able to get the GTS and hit Axel with it. He hits the GTS on it. And then immediately he goes down and locks in the Anaconda Vice. And Axel's right in the middle of the ring. He's got nowhere to go. He has to tap out. So Axel is eliminated. And immediately you can see Heyman on the outside. He's shitting himself. And Punk rolls over after breaking up the Anaconda Vice on him. He rolls over and he's staring right at Heyman. And Heyman's just shitting himself. You can see it in his face. Anyways, Heyman finally comes to his senses. He starts trying to leave. He's trying to run away again. Punk has to get out of the ring and chase him. They go up the ramp. They go off to the side of the stage. They end up going through the crowd, looping back around, back towards ringside. Punk finally grabs a hold of him and gets him back in the ring. And Heyman tries to apologize. He hugs Punk, but you can see Punk looking over his shoulder. He's got this devilish smile on his face. You can tell he's going to kill Heyman. He grabs the kendo stick. He starts wailing on Heyman, and he beats the fuck out of him with it. Heyman's down, and Punk starts messing around with his knee pad, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he reaches down into his boot, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? He pulls out a set of handcuffs. Just like the other week on Raw. He pulls out this set of handcuffs, and he cuffs Heyman's hands behind his back, and he just, again, starts wailing on him with the damn kendo stick. And he's just wailing on him, just whacking repeatedly. And he finally stops. And, Heyman's down. He's fucking dead. But Punk is kind of looking at the table, which is still leaning in the corner because they never used it so far. He's looking at it, and the crowd's like, yes, tables, yes. Oh yeah, Punk had Heyman up against the bottom rope, and he had the stick up to his face like he was going to crack him right in the face, and he even looked at him and said, I broke your heart, now I'm going to break your face, like he said on Raw the other week. And he's got the kendo stick, and he's backing up, getting ready to hit him, and all of a sudden the camera looks behind Punk, and there's Ryback. Don't ask me why, but there's Ryback. Punk turns around and sees him. Ryback charges, lifts Punk up, slams him through the damn table. Punk is out. Ryback drags Punk out of the corner, into the middle of the ring, drags Heyman's lifeless body, handcuffed and all, on top of Punk. Heyman has the cover. 1, 2, 3. Heyman wins the match. I'm not even kidding. For some stupid reason, Ryback comes out of nowhere, puts Punk through the damn table, and helps Heyman get the win. After the match, Ryback drags Heyman over to the apron over by the ramp. Ryback gets out of the ring. He gets Heyman up and he gets him on his shoulder and just carries him out of the arena, out through the curtain. So, yeah. There's a couple of referees, and again, the ringside doctors trying to help Punk. Punk don't want any help. He kind of slaps at him, get away. He's humiliated. And Punk finally sits up, and I noticed that there's blood on the canvas. I'm like, what the hell happened? Punk sits up. He's got a nasty cut on his back. And I'm guessing it came from going through the table. Like, he must have got caught by a sharp edge or something. And it was pretty long, too. And not only that, but it was like V-shaped almost. It was a nasty looking cut. He's bleeding from his back. Anyways, he leaves, the referees leave, whatever. Right about here, they showed a commercial, basically, for the next pay-per-view coming up, which is Battleground. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Battleground is a new pay-per-view they're debuting this year. I don't know what exactly it's replacing, but it's going to be on October 6th. So we only get 3 weeks. 3 weeks until the next pay-per-view. Anyways, after that, they cut back to the panel. Those guys are talking again. And before they can even finish talking, the Shield music hits. It's time for the U.S. title match. You can see the 3 members start coming down the stairway, but only Ambrose... I mean, once again, it's like Rollins and Reigns come out just to, like, kind of pat him on the back. You can do it, you know. And Ambrose goes down to the ring. Rollins and Reigns kind of piss off. Ambrose gets in the ring, and then Ziggler comes out. And this was another something that kind of happened on SmackDown that I didn't really catch. But yeah, Ziggler was able to beat Ambrose on SmackDown, and thus he won a U.S. title shot. So yeah. So we've got Ambrose and Ziggler for the U.S. title. These two put on a friggin' clinic in that ring. This was a damn good match. Some highlights. They went up to the top rope, and Ambrose was able to hit a super double underhook suplex on Ziggler off the top rope. Almost immediately following that, Ambrose went up to the opposite corner, and he was going to do something, but Ziggler gets up and he comes running and he catches Ambrose up top. Super X Factor off the top rope. They went around a little bit. Ambrose countered out of the Fameasser once, but Ziggler was able to hit it anyways after trying again, but he hit it like in the corner, so Ambrose was able to get a rope break. And then finally, let's see, Ambrose went for the headlock driver, but Ziggler got out of it somehow. They kind of went around trying to do something, and Ziggler got planted somehow, and Ambrose picked him up and hit the headlock driver on him anyways, and got the win. So Ambrose retains the title. I'm pretty sure I did predict that. After the match, Rollins and Reigns come out and join Ambrose in the ring, and the 3 of them are celebrating. And as that's going on, the Primetime Players music hits, of course. It's time for the tag team title match. Primetime Players come down, and they get in the ring, and it's time for, like I said, the tag team title match. Right at the start of the match, Rollins is starting with Titus. And the first thing Rollins does is he just walks up and slaps Titus in the face. And he ends up doing it 2 or 3 more times. Let's see. Young ripped off Cassius Ohno. I think what it was that he did is he basically did the bypass rolling elbow. Oh yeah, there was a spot on the outside. Young and Rollins were legal. Rollins rolled out of the ring. Young went after him. And Reigns was on the outside of the ring too, over by their corner. And Rollins led Young over, and Reigns was going to clothesline him, but Young ducked it and then slipped and fell on his ass. But he got up and he turned around and he punches Reigns, which is what he was supposed to do. But anyways, back in the ring, Rollins was legal with Titus. And let's see, Titus hit his big, like, sky-high spine buster thing, and he was going for the pin, but Reigns broke it up. Young came in, threw Reigns out of the ring, and went out with him, and then Reigns cuts him down on the apron and plants Young on the floor. And Rollins was trying to hold off Titus. Reigns comes back in, spears the hell out of Titus, and he rolls out of the ring, Reigns does. Rollins makes the cover and gets the win. So the Shield also retains the tag team titles. Ambrose comes back out, and the 3 of them celebrate some more. Okay, fine. They show a recap of what happened in the Punk, Heyman, and Axel match with Ryback from earlier. And then after that, they recap the whole feud between Orton and Daniel Bryan. Everything from SummerSlam up until now. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so Bryan comes out. Then Randy comes out. It's time for the WWE title match. They do the big match introductions and all that's good. Once again, this was a pretty good match. Again, some highlights. Early in the match, Randy started mocking with his little pose again. Randy did the second rope, the back and neck breaker thing. I think he's done that once or twice before. Bryan goes and Randy's on the outside of the ring, and Bryan hits a suicide dive him on one side of the ring. They get back in the ring, and I don't know how, but Randy wound up on the outside of the ring again on the opposite side. Bryan runs across and does the suicide dive on him again. He nails it. He throws Randy back in the ring, and Randy keeps rolling and rolls on the other side of the ring over by the commentators. Bryan's in the ring, and he goes for the suicide dive again, and I'm like, no, don't, you're going to get caught, and of course he does get caught. As he's coming through the ropes, Randy catches him with like a forearm shot, and this of course knocks Bryan loopy. From that, Randy was able to DDT Bryan from the apron to the floor. It was like the hanging thing. Bryan was hanging from the apron, and Randy plants him on the floor. After that, there was a ref bump. The referee was Scott Armstrong. He gets knocked out of the ring. Another referee comes out almost immediately. Bryan was going for the yes lock, but he couldn't quite get it. Or no, yeah. The second ref comes out and whatever, they get out of the yes lock thing, but Bryan gets it in again, and he actually gets it, but Randy gets to the ropes. Bryan had already done a couple of the corner drop kicks. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. But he gets Randy in the corner, and he goes for it again, and Randy gets out of the way. But then somehow they wound up in the opposite corner, and Randy was up top. Bryan brings him down into the Tree of Woe, and he's doing the kicks, the repeating kicks, and then he backs up and he does the big drop kick in the corner from the Tree of Woe. And then he lifts Randy back up onto the top rope. They kind of went around countering and stuff, and but what ended up happening was Bryan gets up there with Randy again, and he hooks his legs in, and he does that spider superplex from off the top rope, where he superplexes Randy off, but he doesn't fall down and hit the mat, so he doesn't take any of the damage. And then he brings himself back up onto the top rope, he turns himself around, and he dives off and he hits the big flying Benoit headbutt. And I think he only got a 2 count off of that. And at this point, the first referee comes back, and he's like, I'm okay, I can keep going, whatever the fuck. Randy was able to counter something into... Oh, right. Bryan had him down, and he was doing the repeating chest kicks. He went for the big roundhouse, but of course, Randy ducks it and jumps up immediately and grabs Bryan, cinches him up for that capture suplex, and he nails that. Right. I think after that, here's the finish of the match. After that capture suplex, Randy was down, he was going for the RKO. They both get up, and Randy goes for it, but Bryan counters into a backslide. Randy rolls through, or Bryan just let him out of the backslide, whatever. But then Bryan rears back, hits the big roundhouse kick. Levels Randy, he's staggered. Bryan scrambles over to the corner. And I'm like, oh shit, he's going for the fucking knee, and he does. Randy gets up and he comes screaming, and Bryan clocks him with the big friggin' knee. And he gets the cover, and he gets the win. Bryan actually wins. I didn't see it, but I was seeing people complaining about a fast count. I didn't see the fast count, but apparently there was one. But either way, I'm like, I can't believe Bryan actually won. But then again, if this fast count thing was legit, the commentators didn't mention it. They didn't get a replay of the fast count. At least I don't think they did. But either way, Randy rolls the hell out of the ring and he leaves. Bryan's got the belt and he's celebrating. Yes, yes, yes. He's going around holding the belt up at all four of the corners and everything. And Bryan leaves with the belt. And they even show the little nameplate, new WWE Champion Daniel Bryan. And he leaves. And that's the end of the pay-per-view. So, I was expecting Triple H to come out, or somebody to come out and attack Bryan, or something. I can't believe they even let him win the match. But if this fast count thing is actually happened, like I said, I didn't see it. But whatever. If this thing is legit, they're obviously going to do something tomorrow night on Raw. And they're probably going to strip him of the title and say, you got a fast count, it doesn't count. Randy's still the champion. That match is going to be stricken from the record books. Apparently this is a ripoff of a storyline from back in the day. It was Triple H versus Jericho. And the same thing happened. Jericho won, but it was a fast count, and so the match was stricken from the record, and Triple H got the title back. I don't know. But whatever. That was the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Overall, I'd say it was alright. I can't believe they let Bryan walk out with the title, but I'm glad. But they're probably just going to reverse the decision tomorrow night anyways, so I can't really get my hopes up too much. Just as a recap of the matches that I saw, the Divas title match was trash. The World Heavyweight title match was alright. I can't believe Sandow didn't cash in. Fandango and Miz was a good match. Did I miss? No, okay. Fandango and Miz was a good match. Heyman and Axel versus Punk was decent. It was going fairly decent up until Ryback came in. That is one hell of a what the fuck finish. Ryback has had no ties to Paul Heyman. And, in fact, it was Paul Heyman who was supposedly manipulating the Shield and Brad Maddox as the referee to screw over Ryback. So, again, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. I was thinking if anybody was going to interfere, it was going to be a new debut from NXT. Some people were thinking Cassius Ohno. Some people were thinking maybe it might have been Leo Kruger or Corey Graves. Anybody new would have been preferable over Ryback. Why Ryback? What are we going to do? Are we going to build to a feud between Ryback and Punk? Why in the fuck would you do that? Nobody gives a shit about Ryback. And from what I was hearing, they were going to team Punk up with Daniel Bryan and have them sort of lead like a revolt against the administration, Randy and Triple H and the Shield and all that shit. Whatever. But that match was decent, I guess. The match with Ambrose and Ziggler, that one was damn good. It really was. That was a damn good match. The tag team title match was decent. I'm glad that the Shield retained because the Primetime Players, They didn't deserve a shot at the titles, let alone to win. The match probably would have been a lot better if another team would have been going against the Shield, but whatever. And again, Bryan and Orton was a good match too. I just still can't believe that they let Bryan win. But like I said, they'll probably strip him of the title tomorrow night on Raw, so I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. Once again, that was Night of Champions from Sunday, September 15th, 2013, Detroit, Michigan. Daniel Bryan's our WWE champion, so I guess I'm going to have to watch Raw tomorrow night. Here's the thing, though. Tomorrow night, for those of you who don't know, Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out this Tuesday, which is obviously the day after tomorrow. I'm going to a midnight release Monday night after Raw. So my Raw rant might be a little bit late. It probably will be a bit late. So, yeah. I'm probably going to come home from that midnight release, and I'm probably going to be playing GTA 5 for a couple of hours. But, yeah, I will watch Raw. I will take my notes, and everything will be cool. I will get my rant up for Raw sometime after it. Like I said, I'll probably be playing GTA 5 for a while. But, yeah. That was Night of Champions. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to expect for tomorrow, but they're probably going to strip him of the title. I can't imagine them letting this stand. If there really was a fast count. I didn't see it. I missed the 3 count. I was taking down notes, so I missed the 3 count. But I pretty much figured as soon as he hit that knee, it was over, because not even Super Cena could kick out of it. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but up on Wikipedia, somebody put that under Daniel Bryan as one of his new finishing moves, and they titled it The Move That Beat Cena. That is a perfect name for that move. I just call it the super running knee to the face. Falcon knee! Anyways, like I said, again, that was Night of Champions. We'll see what happens tomorrow night on Raw. Join us then. I'll try and get my rant up as soon as possible after the midnight release. We will see you then. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow night for Raw. Good night.